Hey guys, and welcome back to the newest episode of Anime Podcasters.
That's how you start it off.
You sound like a car engine taking
We are
off.
back.
All right, guys, welcome back to a new episode. We are back with hosts. I am your host, Hotshot Ginger. I have my other actual host who started this episode.
Today we're going to be talking about My Neighbor Totoro. I'm very excited. We got a special guest, Eli.
Hello.
Aazriik, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing great, and how is everybody here doing?
I'd be
Good.
better if we weren't
good.
talking about Totoro.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Yeah. Jeez. Okay, I love Totoro, by the way. I don't know what Hotshot's problem is.
Yeah, you and 98%
Yeah,
of the
we're going to
world.
get into that.
You're not special.
We also have Hotshot with us. How's it going, buddy?
It's going fine, I guess. Pick a topic I don't really want to do, and here I am because I'm loyal to the brand.
And Kyo, how are you?
Hello. I'm ready to torture Austin for the next hour and a half.
Everyone's against
So
me.
I did
I
sit
might just
through.
drop out of this
I did
call.
sit through the movie again yesterday, or the day before yesterday with Austin, just to refresh him on what I guess he considers a horror anime.
We'll get into it,
let's-
but it is.
Let's start with the first impressions on My Neighbor Totoro and how you guys found out about it. Just a general overview. Anyone who wants to go first, go ahead. Open discussion.
I hated
Okay,
it.
gentlemen. Okay.
Okay, I'll go first then.
That's it.
We found I knew about Totoro for a long time. Like after learning about Ghibli, my first Ghibli movie was actually Spirited Away. But I've never seen Totoro until recently when me and Kyo were like binge watching through a whole bunch of Ghibli movies when before we did our Ghibli episode. I don't remember what number it was. But when we got to Totoro, I thought everything was cute. I thought everything was fine. It was a cute story and everything. But Totoro himself scares the fuck out of me. I rewatched it the other day. He still scares the fuck out of me. The thing that should be scary is Cat Bus, and I love Cat Bus. I hate Totoro.
Wait. Okay, literally, I was trying to describe this to Shar because I said, yeah, I'm watching Totoro because I'm doing a podcast with my buds, and one of the guys doing the podcast, he thinks it's horror, and I was mentioning how you think Totoro is like a horror themed creature. And I thought that you meant the cat bus too. And she was like, yeah, the cat bus. It's so scary. But you think the cat bus isn't scary?
I like the cat
literally
bus.
the scariest part. What
I
do you
love the cat
mean?
bus. Totoro's the scary part.
What? But the Totoro? What do you mean he's not scary at all?
Totoro is scary beyond measure.
Okay, we're going to have to get into this.
And we will. That's just my first impression. My first impression is My Neighbor Totoro made me shit my pants. Eli,
Can I ask a
go.
question about that, though? Because, is it the claws? How big the claws are?
They don't help.
Okay. All right, that's fair. Okay, so my first impression.
Go.
I first watched it when I was really young. The movies came out in like what 1988 or something. I think it was like
Exactly,
in the late
yes.
80s.
Well, like Ghibli in
Yes.
general.
Yeah, exactly. So I was born 95, so I didn't get a hold of it until like late 90s. But when I did, I loved the art style. I thought it was very wholesome and sweet and really cute. But then when I watched a little bit more Studio Ghibli stuff, I realized that they can only draw the same character constantly. But other than that, I loved it. It had everything that I could have asked for, like crazy anime eyes, cute girls, and well, at my age, I thought every girl was cute, by the way.
Relatable.
But it was just an amazing, wholesome movie to just like get me so full of love and just I loved it.
To go back on a point
Yeah.
you just made where Ghibli just draws the same character over and over. That's actually like the exact same thing that Kyo said when we were watching a couple of them yesterday.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I was we were watching it yesterday, and I was like, I think all the kid characters in that same age range like May, they all look kind of the same in Ghibli movies. And what's the kid's name? The boy kid's name, Kanta.
Yeah.
He looks exactly like the kid from Grave of the Fireflies, the big brother that goes through.
Oh yes.
They look almost exactly alike. Like I think most of these characters look about the same, and it's a little annoying. It has what artists call same face syndrome.
Well, to be fair,
Damn.
in my eyes at least, the thing that Ghibli stands out for is like supernatural aspects. So that means like the creatures in the world more than the character designs.
Yeah. That's fair.
I would say so. I think their world building is really strong, and like I said the same thing to you yesterday, Austin, was that they're really good at what was the word I was looking for? Effects. Like they're really good at
They're good at special effects and like world building, but like character
scenery is the word
stuff,
that I was looking for. So like scenery, water animation, just
basically anything that isn't human.
they do
Well, I
humans
mean,
okay.
yeah.
They do humans pretty
No,
well.
they
Still
do humans
like
fine.
they know how to animate. They know how to animate like Kiki flying on her broom, and it looks so realistic.
I think it depends
Like
on the
somehow,
movie,
even though
then.
how are you supposed to get reference for that kind of image?
Look at a human being on a broom with a fan.
Flying on a broom,
Okay.
Austin.
With a fan. Point a giant
You gotta
industrial
remember-
fan at them as they have a broom between their legs.
This was late 80s, early 90s, all right, Hotshot? So
Yeah,
like,
you
it's
have a
kinda
giant
hard to,
fan and a broom and a woman in a gown.
Jesus.
And you just
they aren't
draw.
smart back then, okay? But they did awesome, especially like in an art style like that, to get amazing scenery where it feels painted. Everything can move and animate at any given moment. And like Kyo said, the water animation, like when they were waiting at the bus stop and Totoro comes by and like hangs out with them and likes the drops of water
See,
on the umbrella, so he makes it all pour. Loved that scene.
That
made me
that is
feel
a
there.
that is a prime example of what scares the fuck out of me with Totoro.
Yeah.
No, I'm not kidding.
Okay.
He is scary as sin in that scene.
Austin's just afraid of the smile. Like whenever Austin sees Totoro, like as long as he's not smiling, he's fine with it. Because funny enough, I have a little Totoro miniature on my desk, and I have a little Totoro plushie on my counter back there.
That's so cute.
Yeah, and it's gray Totoro, like the big Totoro, the one with
It's
I'll have to send
actually
it to you guys
Totoro,
after the
not little
podcast, but
guy.
it's
Yeah,
it's
please
Totoro
do.
holding the umbrella over his head.
I wanna talk a little bit about the point. I think one of the special moments in the movie for me was when May first saw that miniature Totoro in the backyard, and then
Oh, the
that
little
led
white
to,
one?
you know, like yeah, and then that led
Yeah.
to like the I guess medium one, and then you see the big one. I think that really introduced the whole universe that the fantasy part of the movie, at least for me. And it's such a nice kid-friendly anime in that sense to me, which is what I really enjoyed, because you kind of felt like you were a kid again watching that. For me, like I don't know, but I lived part of my life in the country when I was in France, and when I saw that the big fields and everything, I was like, I could really relate to the environment of that movie. But specifically, I don't know what you guys think of it, but like, what did you guys think about like the different versions of Totoro throughout the movie? That to me was one of the more enjoyable parts for sure.
Oh, the little Totoros?
Yeah, just all of them, all the variations of them.
Well, there's only 3. I mean, like there's
Yeah.
there's actual Totoro himself, and then there's the little white one, and then there's the blue one. And Austin didn't notice this until I pointed it out, but the white one doesn't have arms; it's just legs.
Oh my god, you're right. I didn't notice that either. What?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just a little blob with feet.
that disappears
Wow.
and reappears.
Yeah, it's a little goblin.
To be honest,
Can I
I
just
didn't.
say,
I didn't really give him much thought.
that's true. Yeah, you don't really think about that. But I have 2 things here. One, that white Totoro that we saw at the very beginning, it reminded me of Alice in Wonderland, because when Alice first gets introduced to that world, it was by that white
Oh.
rabbit, right? And
Yeah,
it's like
that's true.
I'm late for a very important date, and it looked like that little white Totoro was going to some place very specific and in a hurry, and May was just saw it and thought, okay, I'll just follow it. And it was the introduction to the world. And I thought it was really cool because, like, with the white rabbit, in Alice in Wonderland, it kept disappearing too, but like around corners and stuff. With this one, they did it in a completely different way. And hand animating that, where you can make something go invisible, is an extremely hard thing to do. And I applaud that studio for doing that, but it's really cool to think that they were able to bring in something like Alice in Wonderland into it and made me think of that. I don't know if they referenced Alice in Wonderland in that way or they meant to, but I definitely got that vibe.
It's a pretty similar. It's a pretty similar concept. I won't lie. Like I didn't think of that until you brought it up just now.
Yeah, I was thinking that the whole time. But the second thing that I wanted to bring up, Jaian, you mentioned that was the first introduction to make you feel part of the world and made you feel like a kid again. For me, it was way earlier when they first got into the scene at the very beginning, where the kids were in the back of the moving truck underneath the desks and stuff just to hide from the police. Like, I remember doing that because, like, I was in a small car, big family, and we were sitting on top of each other. Like, oh, a cop, guys, hide. And we used to, like, duck underneath because, like, there wasn't enough room. It made me feel back then, you know? And then later on, when they had, like, those dust mites, and they were just imagining them going all over the place and like catching them in midair. And it just felt like I was there. And I kept looking to Shar, my girlfriend, watching it with me. Like, this feels like home. Like, watching this makes me remember why I love this movie.
Yeah, it's like for me, the first time I saw this movie was in 2020 when I just started going on a Ghibli binge during quarantine, and this was one of the very first Ghibli movies I saw, and I really feel like it's a staple. It's one of the best Ghibli movies that will ever exist. So much so that literally the company's mascot is Totoro, and I wanted to like go back, maybe like getting a little bit more into the characters themselves. I don't know about you guys, but Mei was really a standout character to me. She's the one who really has shared like a strong bond with Totoro, and I feel like the bond between those two was really the we're in real world, we're in Totoro world, you know, and that kind of governs the way the movie goes, at least like towards the middle and latter part of the movie. I don't know what you guys thought about that bond or any standout characters. I really enjoyed what Mei and Totoro shared.
I mean, just straight up, my favorite character in the movie was Satsuki, the older sister.
Really?
Yeah.
Right?
Just the connection between Mei and Totoro, like, I mean, it's just her. It was really just her like sleeping on a big fluffy pillow. And then after that, it was just like, okay, yeah, we know a forest spirit now. There wasn't anything like special connecting just those two, because after that one scene, Totoro doesn't next appear until the bus stop, and then Satsuki sees him and has the same kind of bond with Totoro that Mei has. So it doesn't really stand out. And actually, while I'm on that, okay, Totoro is barely in Totoro. Totoro's only in the movie for like maybe 6 minutes, and it's an hour and a half long movie.
But it's about him.
I want to go back to your first point, Hotshot. And I completely agree with what Aazriik just said. That's absolutely true, and that makes me feel like it's more about him than what you lead on to say. But I don't know. The reason why I disagree with what you're saying, Hotshot, is because when Mei meets Totoro, the only thing Mei talks about after for a little while is like, Totoro, I saw Totoro, and I don't know.
That's not a bond. That's a little child saying, I saw something.
Austin has a point. It's like Austin has a point. That's like saying like that child that went to Disneyland to see fucking Mickey Mouse in a costume has a bond with the child. It's like, do they really though? They kind of just came there for a picture and then they left.
I saw Mickey take his head off. It's okay, sweetie. It happens, and then they just leave.
Oh my god.
That is the kind of bond. It's like, okay, cool. You saw a giant forest animal. We're kind of aware magic exists in this world.
Right? Oh my god. Just as a side tangent, very quick.
Go
if
ahead.
you end up seeing someone at Wonderland, wow.
Disneyland.
What's that? Thank you, Disneyland. Jesus Christ. If you end up seeing someone without their mask off, then they could get fired.
They could get fired,
Oh,
and
they
they can get fired, and they can also give you a black pass. It's basically a life pass for the theme park.
Which doesn't make sense. Like, why would you want to go back to that place where your kid just got traumatized by seeing Mickey Mouse lose his head?
So
Exactly.
you heard it. You heard it
it's
here first.
tragic.
You heard it here first, kids. Go to Disneyland, tackle Mickey, and force his mask off.
No, don't do that, guys. Don't do that.
No.
I don't want to be liable.
All right, let's get back. Let's get back on point here.
Yes.
I once again want to bring up the bond here because I agree to disagree, Hotshot. But to me, the way that Totoro once again goes after with Satsuki to find Mei at the end when she's lost and everything, I just feel like I don't know. I feel like there's a bond there. I definitely see it and I definitely feel it. Between those two, there's something special. I don't know if bond's the right word necessarily,
literally-
but they
Satsuki went
Yeah.
to Totoro because she had literally no other option, and when you're in mass hysteria, can't find anyone, you're gonna use all your resources, and
Okay.
she just took a fucking
monster
shot in the dark.
in the forest. I feel like you just really hate this movie, though.
Even then, Totoro did okay. If they had a bond, I'm saying fuck you here. If they had a bond, Totoro would have gone with Satsuki to find Mei, not just throw Satsuki in the cat bus and say, "Okay, later."
just to add on to that.
That's a fair point, though.
It's not though, and here's why.
Okay, later.
Totoro can't go as fast as the cat, okay? And
He can
to
get on the
Totoro-
bus. He was on the bus in the other part of the
spiritual
movie.
being.
That's fair. He could definitely go on the bus, but what's the point when the bus takes you to your destination? Guaranteed. Like the top of the bus switched to say May, so they were going to take Sasuke to May no matter what.
Okay,
so
thank
she
you.
jumped
Thank
on the
you
bus
for pointing that
and
out
went
because-
there, and Totoro just like, okay, I'll let you be because I know you're safe.
Thank you for pointing that out because A, I can't read Japanese, and B, because it kind of drives my point a little more. Why the fuck didn't Totoro go with her to just like check on Mei if they have this special bond?
You don't need
That's
to
honestly
because-
no. If they have a bond, you make sure whoever you have that bond with is okay. You don't just throw
Absolutely, and he
you don't
did.
just throw her sister on a cat bus that climbs power lines and just say, "All right, let's see how this plays out."
But here's the thing. He knows that he knows about the cat bus because he looks like he's been going on that cat bus for a very long time because he went to that bus stop, right? And the cat seemed to know him, knew it was him, and just went to the bus stop or whatever, changed to the direction he was going. So they have that bond. So he knew that, okay, Sasuke's
Yeah,
looking
I
for
believe-
Mei.
I
know the
believe the
best way to
bond-
find Mei. Let me call that bus. And the
I
bus
believe-
came to help them out.
I believe the bond between the cat bus and Totoro, not between Mei and Totoro.
Oh my god, I'm done.
All right, let's not get too lost. The one thing
How
I'm
is that
noticing
off?
here
It's
is like
still
the,
on
the two
Totoro.
Canadian. No, but like we're just talking about the same point over and over and over, and we get what you're thinking.
All right,
That's
all
what I'm
right.
trying to say. What I'm saying here is that I feel like the Canadians are like nice, heartwarm, loving people, and the Americans like it's fake news. That's not how it works.
Look, I'm sorry,
It's fake
it's-
bond. It's not a
We're very
real bond.
positive.
It's in my not so patriotic blood. So
That's true. All right, just to switch the points over, I have something else to discuss.
Yeah,
please.
So
go ahead.
and when they were trying to grow the plants, because they got the seed
Oh,
gift
thank you
after
for
that
starting
bus stop
this.
seed, right? That they saw it, they wrote a letter to their mom, super excited about it. They planted it, went to sleep, and I don't know if it was a dream that they dreamt it or not. And I wanted to know what you guys thought about that, because me personally, I think that Totoro visited them in their dreams to actually make that happen. And they took their souls out of their body to make all that happen, like visually in their brains, and then physically brought that corn over to the parents. Like it's a weird kind of theory, but I want to know your vision on that.
honestly,
Man, that
with
part
the,
confused me. That was
with the plant growing, like when they were starting to grow stuff in the trees and did the happy grow dance. That's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly,
and then after
like,
that, they brought him to the parents.
I think you're right to where they shared a dream with the three Totoros out there. But at the same time, was it because, I mean, the dad looked outside and saw the girls dancing and then just didn't think anything of it and just kept going back to work?
No, Austin.
But did he, though?
Or Austin, he didn't see that. He didn't see them dancing. I just pointed out during that shot, like when it's the wide shot and it's all of them dancing around the plant or around the garden, you
That
can
if you
see the
looked
dad
left, you
in
could
the
see
far
him.
left side of the shot. and he's
Okay.
just at his desk. So like if he just looked over, he would see all this shit happening.
Okay.
Yeah, but he never
Okay,
did.
so-
And
so
when
I'll
he
give
did,
a-
he was just waving himself, like fanning
Okay.
himself.
Okay, so I'll give
Yeah.
a pass to that. But something that just disturbs me, and I made a joke about this with Kyo, and I'm sorry to say it, but why, in order to make it like, why was
Let
it
me
just
explain.
so?
Let me explain. When you're lifting weights, and you wouldn't understand because so when you're lifting
Oh
weights,
my
I'm
God.
not hurt by the
exert-
truth, Eli.
you exert so much
Okay,
force that
okay.
you make faces, right?
No. But like you said, I wouldn't understand.
Coming from the guy who doesn't do any weights. No.
Okay, but to bring this point home,
When you're
he's
doing something else,
lifting
you make
them out of the
faces, but not
ground.
when you're lifting something heavy.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, I lift
Not that
a lot
you
of
would
things heavy.
understand.
I do. Okay, so when you're lifting something heavy, I tend to grunt a lot, or like let's say like I'm moving boxes or something just to move places. 'Cause I've moved so much in my life. I actually got made fun of before from my friend because every time I used to grunt picking up a box, and he used to turn to me like, "Are you old or something? Like, are you 86? No, I'm just grunting." So that's my way of lifting something heavy. But some people make faces to prevent that or prevent a strain, or they have different techniques of dealing with the weight that they're carrying. But definitely faces is the way that some people deal with lifting heavy objects.
I feel personally attacked right now, just given the current circumstances that you're not aware
Oh, I'm
of.
sorry.
If Austin says he feels personally attacked, he really doesn't. He's just joking.
Oh, good. Then
Mostly.
Inkling, if you have another point, you could definitely go for it.
I don't really
Did you have
have,
anything, Austin?
I don't really have another point on that circumstance. It isn't exactly a pleasant thing to experience that fucking close.
He definitely seemed to be sweating too much to be lifting plants. So
Yeah,
I get
especially
it.
He's a forest spirit. He might be old. I don't know.
here's the thing. He was really only sweating all that much like to get them to sprout, and then when the tree like exploded, he didn't really exert all that much energy. It was just to get him to like do a little, and that's it.
I think getting
That's all
them
you
to
needed.
start is the hard part, but once you get it going, it's a lot easier. But okay, that's
just
not
wanna
the
come in
theory that
and-
I'm talking about. The theory of this whole part was to see were they dreaming it or was it real?
I know. Sorry to.
I
sorry
think
to,
it was real.
Sorry to veer on that.
Oh,
Wait,
it's
how
okay.
how can
think it-
how can it be real? When they wake up the next morning, the
I
the plants like just barely have sprouted, but in the dream, it was a
I think
giant 5-mile tall tree.
Well, I think it was just because he could have easily taken it away, and it could have been just like the actual circumstances of it could have been real, but just not the actual tree. You see what I mean? Like I think it really happened.
You think it's easier to push that tree back into the seed than it was to yank out that little seedling?
I think that point.
Yes, I do believe that.
I think that point actually makes my point actually valid because it could be a dream where they're dreaming it. So if the kids were actually doing it, let's just get to that. If the kids were actually doing it, the dad would have noticed. No matter what, they were loud. They were being super excited about the plants doing that, and like in a very nighttime world like that area.
Wait, shit.
There's
Okay,
no
thank
cars
you.
or anything there, so he would have heard them. So he would have turned and saw them. So I think it was honestly a dream.
He did turn. He actually did turn after the tree grew when they were on top of the branches and blowing in the jugs.
Oh yeah, okay. At that part, yes, he did turn because he heard the whistling of the wind or whatever, and that was them doing their little instruments. You're right.
That does lead
Myth
into like the
busted.
whole that does lead into that whole like theory that Totoro's the god of death.
Whoa, what?
Oh, you don't know
have,
this one?
have neither of you heard this one?
Eli,
No.
we brought you on a
Really?
podcast. What the hell did you think we were going to end up talking about?
There's always
Oh
got to
my
be an
gosh.
internet theory of some kind.
Always
Of
about
death.
Always.
Yeah, or like the theory stands that like Totoro is actually the god of death, and like all the times that he's visiting the kids is him like slowly bringing the kids closer and closer to death, and that the only reason the mom kind of heard them was because that she was on death's door.
Whoa.
And the dad just
But like
intense.
the biggest hole in that theory is that like in the ending credits you have all those pictures and all those scenes where you see the kids going back to the parents and the other characters. So it's just like, okay, that's a cool theory, but at the same time,
Okay.
there
That's fair.
at the same time, I think that some people just put theories in places like where there doesn't need to be.
So if we push
Yeah.
this beyond beyond comprehension, let's take the scene where May runs away to go to the hospital. Let's say that sandal actually was May's and she was already
Yeah.
dead. When Satsuki goes and finds Totoro, she has been running around town like literally all day. She might have died from exhaustion. So when they both get on the
Oh my
cat bus,
God.
they're actually already dead, and it was a final farewell gift for the corn to their parents as the cat bus escorts them away.
Oh my god.
That's just where my mind goes if we
But-
go along with this theory.
I don't believe that's an accurate theory, and I'll explain why.
No, I know
There's
it's not.
actually a
It's just that
continuation to
if
the
we
anime.
continue that,
That's what I just said.
Yeah,
Continuation?
yeah. There's
yeah, the movie
what's it called?
ends.
It's May. No.
The movie
It's
has
a
a conclusion.
14-minute short.
Oh, it's a
Sorry.
14-minute short.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called May and the Baby Cat Bus, and it takes place after My Neighbor Totoro.
not
I don't want to
canon.
go too far down the rabbit hole.
Yeah,
I
it's-
know.
Really,
but,
all that, or
yeah.
really, all that short is just a short for the Ghibli Museum, and you can't really see it anywhere else. I don't think it might be on like a special features disc somewhere, but I don't know where you can watch it other than that.
It's the new Totoro getting to know their new transportation.
Oh my god.
It's the new god of death learning how to get around in the world.
Okay.
Let's go more into characters because I really want to talk about specifically the mother. The mother was, definitely added like a layer of darkness into the anime because she's not doing well, and at some points you can't see her because she's not even she's getting worse and worse, and that affects Mei and Satsuki in emotional ways where they fight against each other. What were your thoughts on the mother and the struggle that she brought into the movie?
I mean, she was sweet.
She was very sweet, but also like I've been watching a lot of Grey's Anatomy, and
Oh
what I've
no,
been
Eli,
trying to
why?
figure out. I love that, but anyway, just to think about the mother for a second, thinking about what she actually has. It's very weird because they kept saying like, "Oh, it's a cold," and like we don't ever see her sick. We just see her totally fine sitting in a hospital bed every single time. And I know like it's a kids movie; they can't
Actually,
really like
yeah.
show anything. What does she actually have though?
We never even like see her cough or anything.
Nothing.
The description of the film just says she has an illness. That's all that is known. Obviously, she needs to be hospitalized for it. That's the extent of that.
I'm very curious because if it's hurting the kids that much, I think that Totoro is, yes, the forest spirit, but showed themselves to the kids to help them cope through the death of their mother. And I think after the movie ended, their mother did die. So it was more of like, here's a way to accept it, and please don't fight against each other. Please love each other for the moments that you can. And it was just trying to show them how to do that.
I want to
Yeah,
believe
I
you,
mean,
but
that's-
then we have the credit sequence where like mom comes home in a taxi, and next thing we know, Satsuki and May possibly have a baby brother that shows up.
Yeah, that was kind of confusing.
Kyo, what
That's
are your
just the
thoughts?
thing
What
that
are
like
your thoughts, Kyo?
anime movies seem to do. They just always seem to throw in like a little like after or
Twist.
like during the credits sort of thing. That's a pretty common Japanese film
Well,
tradition, I guess.
Well, to be fair, we've been doing it. Have you seen any MCU movie ever?
That's
Yeah,
true.
kind of.
Yeah, that's true. The mother was a great character though, because it did add a layer of like kind of what if and kind of death and adult responsibilities to what could have been a great kids
Yeah.
movie, you know?
Honestly, a lot
No,
of
definitely.
A lot of the other characters I didn't really like think twice over. Like even the boy, Ganta, Goober,
Kanta.
Yeah,
Kanta. Okay.
I already forgot his name.
I never
Secondary
I
character.
didn't really give him a second thought. Like I know he was helping Satsuki, like especially when like the telegram came and like helping her look for May when she ran away and everything else. And he's really just kind of the boy next door who secretly has a crush, but yada 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 yada, and just like, okay, great, he's on screen again. Like it wasn't really a I hate this kid, but it wasn't really a oh yes, my favorite character kind of moment either. I'm just like, okay, they need
No,
another
definitely.
character. Like I don't feel
It-
that
only
way. I
moment-
don't feel that way with Nana though. Like I actually like Nana. Like this just sweet old lady or granny, or just
Yes.
this sweet old
Yeah.
lady who was helping take care of the girls and everything else.
She was really cool.
She kind of
Like
reminds
the-
me of my
just the-
grandparents sometimes.
Right? I think that was the objective there, just to make her feel like
Yeah.
your grandmother, like a typical grandmother. Everyone can relate to her and love her. I absolutely loved her.
Oh, in answer to your question, Eli, the disease is supposedly tuberculosis.
So what's
How the
the
hell
what's
did
the
you
symptoms
find
of
that?
I looked it up. I also have an entire window filled with tabs about My Neighbor Totoro because I forgot all of the fun facts that I used to know about it.
It's okay, Kyo,
But
drinking
in the
will do that.
novelization of the movie, illustrated by Miyazaki, by the way, it was stated that it was tuberculosis.
So tuberculosis is a highly contagious acute or chronic bacterial lung infection, which can also affect any body organ, including bones, kidneys, intestines, spleen, and liver.
So that kind of makes sense then. Like if they're talking about like if it's a lung infection, then that means like if she's at that house, it's an older house, so like anything could have been carried over. So like the dust could probably make her sick very easily, I imagine.
So I
Yes,
can't remember. I
but
can't
it's
remember
highly
the movie.
contagious.
And
So
she's in
why
an
did they
open
visit?
hospital and
Yeah.
frequently visited.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Hard to say on
Maybe-
that one.
Maybe it's like the one we're currently going through, where you have to be around them for 15 minutes for like 2 hours and more than 6 feet.
But they were right next to him, and like she hugged.
Yeah,
the
but not for
kids,
15
and-
minutes, because that's a lot of movie.
I guess, but even then, like even with COVID, you know, like just any communication at all within 6 feet without a mask could be potentially risk, you know.
Yeah.
So that if it's highly contagious, like what's the part of it that's highly contagious? Is it?
Oh
like,
shit! What
transferring
about this?
phlegm?
What about this? What if they're not going to the hospital? What if they're going to a gravesite?
Whoa.
What if they're actually?
It's
talking
while
to
they're
Mom's
away,
grave?
you guys.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah, like, that
is
makes no
fair.
sense.
That is completely fair.
Jayan and I are
Literally.
sitting over here like, what are you guys talking about?
I'm like, are we still on the same topic,
Wait,
bro?
what if they're
Right.
what if they're actually fish?
Whoa. Okay, so let's talk about the dad though, because I
Okay.
honestly related to the dad a lot more than I did the kids. Because yes, I did. Get
Because
a lot of
you're an
nostalgia by
adult
watching
man?
Kids. Exactly. I think like seeing it at 26 years old now, I am relating more to the parents, and like I see why the parent did this and that, and like yeah, I would do this
Yeah.
too, and like that's how I would deal with this situation, but I would also do it this way instead, and blah blah blah. Man, Studio Ghibli and any movie like that that's dedicated to kids, I feel like it's great for families because no matter what age, you tend to relate to some aspect to some character, and Studio Ghibli really hit it hard there.
I completely agree with you on that. Like for me, the father just felt like the support system of the two kids, especially going through everything with the mother. And you could see like he also has like a childish side to him as well, where when they're all scared in the house and it's like all windy, he's like, oh, if we laugh really hard, like nothing bad can happen to us, and like
Yeah,
that
in
was
the
a really
bath.
cute moment. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I loved his character for sure. Like definitely one of my favorite ones.
Very, very wholesome gentleman. I loved him to bits. Okay, but the beginning of the movie, that intro song that they had, I remember when I was young replaying the beginning of that movie like hundreds of times because that song was fire and it still is today. You cannot.
It is so
change my mind.
catchy.
The soundtrack for this anime, just in general, is fantastic. The way it's orchestrated and the melodies, and they have beautiful like leitmotifs like that come back for different characters and different instances. It was really really well composed, and I'm gonna take time after this podcast to like even just find the soundtrack itself and listen to it on its own. It really stood out to me. This one was really really good and felt right in the sense that it supported the story, it supported the moods, and what characters were feeling. So I truly enjoyed the soundtrack personally.
You know, or that in reference to that song, there is actually like an instrumental version of the song, instrumental version of that introduction song, hidden somewhere in the movie. You can kind of hear it if you listen for it. I don't remember where it was. I pointed it out to you, Austin, when we were watching it, but I don't remember exactly where it was.
Can you describe the scene?
That's the thing. We're trying to remember the scene. I think it was like when they first, like their first day actually in the house.
Oh yeah, okay. Like I think they were
like
just or I think they were just running around, and then like the song or like the tune is going, but there's no vocals to it.
Ooh. Oh, so the intro, the hey let's go, hey let's go. Yeah. So they were on their way to the hospital. I'm looking at the Spotify soundtrack right now for it, and that's number 7 on the Spotify collection. It's called "Let's Go to the Hospital."
Oh yeah, that's the scene.
Okay, well that fits. That's pretty fitting.
That is the scene where it's happening. It's like while they're riding the bike and they're going over to the hospital.
I remember that too. Yeah, that was very cheerful to me too.
I
know. Like, okay, what are we gonna call the song? Let's Go to the Hospital is a good title. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
I mean, who's thinking specifically of the soundtrack? Like when they're focused on the movie, like unless you do like a soundtrack release later, that's not really gonna matter until then, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought you meant as a viewer, because I'm like, obviously, Jaden, like you were focused on the design and the animation because you're an artist, and I'm just a lazy ass consumer.
Austin. It's a movie. It's animated.
Speaking of it being a movie, if this was if they went back to this, let's say like this year, next year, and they announced that this
Netflix
was going to be
series.
a series. Yeah.
Don't.
Back to the like hand drawn, like it's going to be the exact same quality, like feels like it's painted or whatever, but like a 12 episodes, nothing more than that. Just I think
so. Like if they did an anime for it,
live action remake.
No, live
no,
action.
No,
but
no.
That's where we draw the line.
I'm sure.
In a series, I would love watching that.
It would actually be cute, like, if they did it, like, after the events of the movie and then just, like, had, like, I don't know, like, story of the week kind of episodes. So, like, each episode is just them doing something different in their neighborhood or in the house or something. And then they go, or, like, Totoro somehow gets involved.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry to
like,
that would be
Totoro,
great.
Go with other kids, too. Like, Shar was telling me about this, too, my girlfriend. Like, I was telling her about I really wanted to see a series on this, and she said every episode maybe could be, like, him interacting with a different kid and, like, maybe helping them cope with something, and we find out what it is in the episode, and I don't know, just, I think it would be a really cute way of introducing the world and, like, world building of Totoro.
Then you get to the last episode in the series, and he's just stabbing someone with his claws.
Exactly. Yeah, we can't forget the horror aspect. Yeah, the last.
It's like, okay, I'm making peace with like losing someone. How about making peace with someone taken from you?
How about making pieces of someone?
There you go. Here's your dad's leg. You want the rest? Give me the money.
I'm just realizing Eli can go from defending how innocent this movie is to just joining Austin on his like on his gore fetishizing or whatever.
That's the thing. Like,
wow.
Okay. I'll finally address this. Earlier, Kyo said that the scariest thing about Totoro to me is his smile, and he's right. Especially when he opens his mouth. Then it's just it's like watching Attack on Titan and you're about to be consumed. It's just like like when he opens his mouth it's even worse, but like even when he's just showing that big ass toothy grin, I'm just like, oh god, why are you looking at me like that? Please stop. Like earlier when I commented the bus scene was a prime example of why it scares me so much. When he's standing there calmly with the umbrella and everything, and it's just regular raining and everything, that's perfectly fine until he starts getting the heavy raindrops, and then just that big ass toothy grin comes out again. I'm like, no.
So,
Austin thinks it's
grin,
Austin thinks it's a signal for horrible things to come.
Yep, I just checked, and Alice in Wonderland, the first one, the initial release was July 26, 1951. And if My Neighbor Totoro came out 1988, that means there was enough time for Japan to see it and get inspired by Cheshire
definitely.
Cat,
Yeah,
and that's
easily.
why the cat bus had that grin. That's why Totoro had that grin,
Interesting.
and that's why we saw the cat bus on that tree, like kind of gripping it and smiling the
turning
way
invisible.
Chesh would, and then turning invisible. Exactly.
Here's the thing:
Like,
if you're gonna give that
literally
grin to
that.
something, give it to the cat bus. It fit the cat bus.
And it did.
Totoro, that grin, when he's not grinning, he has no mouth. It just disappears entirely until that grin
Nah,
comes
it was
out.
so sweet. It worked
No!
for the character.
No,
because of
it
how
was
jolly and
not.
Sweet it was.
Do you mean how?
Austin, would it help you? Would it help you to know that Totoro is Japanese for troll?
Wait, actually?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
totally.
told me that.
Yeah, it is.
Doesn't help. No, if anything, it makes it worse. I've done.
I'm
I've
surprised
done
you didn't
my
say it
fair-
validates your point.
Yeah.
I've done my fair
well.
share. I've done my fair share of medieval games and viewing. I know what trolls are. That doesn't help.
I mean, it does prove
My
your
Neighbor
point
Totoro.
more.
My
My
neighbor
Neighbor
Totoro.
Trollio.
Trollio.
When Satsuki comes in, you have to help find May. Trollface just comes up. You mad, bro?
Oh my god.
I haven't heard that joke in about 10 years, Austin.
Yeah,
Even
well, it's
more
relevant
than that.
now
I wanna
because
ask
we're
you guys-
talking about a troll.
I want to ask you guys one at a time. Favorite moment from the movie. I really want to like just highlight special moments for you guys, just to like really cover the storyline.
All right, who are you asking first?
Mine- I'll go first.
Anybody.
So,
you know?
my
Like I said, open.
favorite moment, I would say when they first got to the new place and they were messing with the place, trying to find little quirks of it. So, for example, outside the rotten top, they were pushing it and it was about to come down. They were dancing and like having fun with it. They ran inside and their feet were dirty. They found the stairs to the attic. They were exploring. It made me honestly feel like a kid again, and that is 100% my favorite moment.
And it's all downhill from there. I'm
What about
only,
you, Hotshot?
I'm only saying that because that's so early in the movie.
What about you, Hotshot? Tell us
Hotshot, what about
Oh,
you?
sorry,
Yeah.
sorry, I didn't hear that you were calling for me next.
Okay.
As weird as it is, after May runs away, and
Really?
we're
Huh,
and we're
how
just
come?
focused on Satsuki running around the town and trying to get everybody to search for her and looking for her herself and everything. It may not be like the most impactful scene or anything like that in the movie. I just really enjoy it because frankly, I'm very easy to impress, and Satsuki fucking takes off throughout the entire fucking thing. Like just how quick her running animation is, and then just
Yeah.
stops and then just keeps going. I don't know why. I
think
just
it's a
find that
test of the
pleasant to
character.
watch.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that too, but like not to the degree of it being my favorite. But I understand where you're coming from because it showed her resilience and her loyalty and love for her sister, that she would go through the pain of running constantly. We see how her feet are so tormented. Like there was a zoom in of her feet too, of just like this hurts her. Yet she is doing whatever she can to find her sister. And that's why she was so desperate to like, I need to find Totoro. And like, I'm begging you, please let me see Totoro. And like ran through the bushes to find him. Like I could see why that would be your favorite moment. Like it brings the whole movie together.
Yeah, no, I'm not thinking that deeply on it. I just like her running
Great.
animation.
I was gonna
And for
say
yourself-
I was just gonna say it's a character moment. It's like that's why it's such a strong scene.
Okay,
Yeah.
honestly, I did say that last bit because I really wanted to get you, Eli. But honestly,
Fair.
yeah, I mean, Satsuki is my favorite character, and I think that's one of her strongest moments.
Absolutely. And yours, Kyo?
Gee.
If you say anything
honestly,
Totoro in it.
no, honestly, just the bus stop scene. Like, I like how much of a child he is with like the umbrella, because like I was kind of like that too when I was a kid. It was just like I like the sound of like really loud rain or like really big drops of rain hitting the top of an umbrella. It's a weirdly cozy feeling to me.
Yeah.
Just,
I
Yeah.
love
just to
rain.
just to finish that thought before you said yours, if you say anything with Totoro in it, I will accept it because you're my best friend and it's not mine.
And there we go. It had Totoro in it. And for you, Jaian, what was your favorite moment?
I I just loved May interacting with the small, invisible, non-invisible
Oh,
Totoro
really?
for the very first time. I don't know why, but like her running around, going under the house, like what is that? What is that? What is that? And then like they're dropping like what was it, like peanuts or something? And
Acorns.
she's like,
Acorns,
ah,
yeah.
acorns, thank you. Yeah, and she's like, I know where you're going, and then she runs down, and then she finds the actual Totoro. Like, I love that scene so much, and it was so cute to me that like I actually took. This is like a bit of behind the scenes for the listeners. I took a video of that, and I sent it to our group chat. I was like, oh, this movie's so scary. Look at this cute kid hugging this cute fuzzy like forest spirit. Oh no, Hotshot, this is so scary. I'm so scared right now. Like, in all seriousness though, like it was just that whole sequence just. I loved it. I kind of like, yes, we're like introduced to tidbits of the fantasy, but like we really fall into it with that whole interaction where she just like goes into this forest and she finds the forest spirit, you know?
Yeah, it felt like
So
a portal to
definitely
a
like,
different area.
Yeah.
yeah, basically.
I will say that scene is cute, but again, it's just it's up until like Totoro opens his mouth for me that is cute, and then it's just scary. But then even before then, I was a little nervous about it, not because of that, but because when Totoro flips over onto his back, his whiskers
Yeah.
look like they can pierce through solid stone. Like
my
that their blades are like very blunt objects or weapons, and it's just like you could kill somebody with those.
I honestly thought you were gonna say that Totoro rolled over onto May and killed her.
Probably.
That's
when
I
May
thought when I
died.
first saw it. Yeah, that's.
I
when
mean,
she
That's when
died.
May died. That's when May died. That's what makes the the God of Death theory so palatable.
I mean,
Yeah.
before Totoro will
Do you guys have a worst moment?
the worst
Worst
Or
moment?
Jaian did.
Just
Jaian, did you
Totoro.
pick your favorite moment already?
Yeah, I was talking about
Or
the
we are-
sequence. Yeah, I did. We went
Okay,
over it.
yeah, sorry. I just wasn't sure if we got to everybody.
No, we did.
Okay.
Worst moment. Oof. When the two sisters fought, I was like, "No, you guys have been getting along so well so far. Like, keep it up." Oh no! And then and then Satsuki runs away, and Mei starts crying. I'm just like, this is really sad. I don't
But
like
to
this
be
moment.
fair, to add on to
You're
your
supposed to
point
not
there-
like that scene. You're
Exactly.
supposed to not like that scene anyway.
Yeah.
But it worked so well for the movie, right? Because like, of course they're gonna fight. Like they love their mom so much, and to know that like your mother can't come back, and the older sister being the more responsible one, knowing the cause of it and everything, it's like you don't know any better. Like it's fine. No, it's not, and I need to go see mom right now. And like they just fought over it, and like they just love her so much. It really pulled on my heartstrings. Like, you guys don't have to fight. Like, you still love her so much, but man, that hurts.
because Satsuki
I
was
understand what
saying
you mean.
like how it actually is, and that they would just have to keep waiting. And
It
I
felt
mean,
so real,
May's like 4, so yeah, when she doesn't get away, it's not fair.
exactly.
So it's that kind of
Ugh,
thing. That's what sparked it.
It hurts.
For
Yeah.
But speaking of May not getting her way, that kind of leads into my least favorite scene. Honestly, the interaction with the school. It was just, yeah, just like when Satsuki's at school and everything else is fine, like talking to friends and everything else, and then just Granny shows up out of the fucking blue with May, and it's just like, why? She was fine until now. It's just like,
Yeah.
why?
Like, Granny bringing May to the school, like, me personally as a parent, it's like, if you're not dealing with it, like, too bad. Like, you're gonna have to wait for your sister to get home. I'm not gonna disturb her studies for you to go see her at the school.
Yeah,
I
but when you
understand
think
the
when you think
perspective
about
they were
it,
taking.
when you think
Yeah.
about it, May might have just like started to head off towards the school like she will for the hospital later, and then Granny just basically had no choice but to escort her or something at that point.
Yeah, I
but
can see
it-
that happening.
But just that whole area, I'm just like, it wasn't even like about a whole Totoro thing. It was just, I want my sister. And until then, like at this point, they'd been living at the house for like a good while, and May was always fine with Granny. And then now all of a sudden she's like, yeah, screw you, I want my sister, just out of the fucking blue.
Right.
I mean, I guess the only purpose of that scene is to lead into the fact that they have to wait at the bus stop together, I think.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I think it was as well.
It was
Yeah, but like
plot
then again,
device.
it's just like at the same time you could have just had it as like if Satsuki met Totoro by herself, I think the scene would have been about the same. The only difference is that May was there, except she was sleeping. So why
So
even
she
have her
was
there in the
basically
first place if she's just not going to be there to see Totoro?
Because
Yeah,
anime.
it's just a movie.
Until Dad showed up, and then they both started talking to Dad about Totoro.
Which does bring me to an interesting point. There, what the original Japanese poster for Totoro just has one girl in it.
Oh shit, you're
Oh my
right.
god.
It was it was a really early draft of the film, but like I guess the promotional material leaked, so they ended up putting that one out. But it's a mix of Mei and Satsuki.
Oh.
It's
But then they ended up
mix.
splitting it into two children.
Okay, I thought it
So
was,
that's why
I
we
thought
have
it was-
Mei and Satsuki.
I thought it was just Satsuki.
Oh no! Or the little girl, or the girl in the picture has Satsuki's dress, but has like Mei's head.
Oh.
Yeah.
That is weird.
So we're just
Well,
gonna
then.
go put you on another body and
Just as a side thing, then, the Spotify, if you search Totoro's soundtrack collection, their picture has the cat bus with Sasuke and Mei waiting there and seeing the cat bus. But on the cat bus, there's like 5 or 7 huge Totoros, like the big Totoros, in the bus, not just
Really?
one. Yeah, it's really interesting.
I'll have to see if I
If you
can
guys
find
have
that picture
Spotify,
then.
So,
highly
Kyo,
recommend you
what-
check that out.
So, Kyo, the point that I brought up across when we were watching it was, okay, so let's say Totoro is the Angel of Death. Why is he just hanging around these two? There's other people dying all over the world, so there's got to be other Totoros.
And that picture
Oh.
proves it.
Yeah, but there's only one
Personally,
cat bus.
I don't actually have like a worst moment in mind when I think of this movie. I think it's the nostalgia factor, of course, but I loved every second of this movie. It made me feel like a child. It made me relate to the adults. It made me feel for the characters when they were fighting. It made me feel happy for the ending. It made me feel sad for the parents. All around, it was such a good movie, not just with the story aspects, but with the lighting, the sound design, just the art style too, how it felt like a painting that moves. It was so beautiful that I couldn't look away. I love that movie so much.
I'm with you all the way on that. Like for sure, this movie was gorgeous in so many different ways to me. And the big thing that marks it for me is really how quickly it went by the end of it. I was like, what? It's already over? You know,
Right?
granted, it's not the longest movie ever.
Yeah, we
you know,
had
it's
that
like a-
same effect. Like halfway through, or Austin was like, "How much time is left in this movie?" And I was like, 20 minutes." He was like, "Really? Already?"
Right?
Yeah, it goes by quickly because it just has rich characters, rich music, a rich storyline. It just everything falls in line really well, and it's a nice peaks and valleys of adventure and fantasy and mystery because you don't really know Totoro at the beginning. You're not sure like what's this big.
We still
blob
don't know
of
what Totoro
hair.
is.
Exactly. You see.
He's
Scary.
just a forest
He is
spirit.
scary.
Yeah.
Austin, shut up. Your opinion doesn't matter.
So
It's not opinion, it's fact.
Kyo, did you say your worst moment though? What your worst moment was?
I don't know if I would say that I have a worst moment.
Okay.
I think I would have to agree with Austin and just say like that whole sequence with the girl, or with Mei coming to the school is probably the most boring part. Like,
it felt
I
forced.
I do find it a little funny though how like all the kids start to clamor around and like, holy shit, there's a little sister here. I've never seen a little sister in my life.
Yeah,
they're all climbing
that-
up on top of each other at the windows, just like, whoa, what's happening?
That was a little uncomfortable.
Kids.
Just teacher, my sister's here, and then everyone just rushes the fucking window. Like,
Right?
That
Wait,
feels like school,
do you-
though. That
wait,
feels
do you-
like school. You do one thing wrong and everybody's staring at you.
that's fair.
Yeah, that's
But at the same
And they
time,
are
it's
really
just
young.
like, wait, did you all
Yeah.
have like a crush on Satsuki and just like hope for a cute sister? Like, what's going on here?
Wow. And then the teacher did such a great teacher because they welcomed May in and like, please make May feel right at home, and like gave her crayons and paper to draw, and like, I'm drawing Totoro, and everyone's like super involved and like, asking her questions about it. It was very sweet.
That whole
And
time you
I
saw
know
how
it was only there for the bus stop.
that whole time you saw how uncomfortable Satsuki was through the whole thing. Just like,
Oh yeah, that was cute.
why the hell are you here? Go home.
Yep. For siblings, whether you're an older sibling or a younger sibling, you can relate to that moment where like I
I
just
was an
want to be
older
with
sibling,
my
and I felt that,
right.
that scene so hard.
Same
Oh my
here.
God.
I didn't.
Yep, it's like can't I just have my own thing? Like, why do you have to be there wherever I fucking go? This is my class. Leave me the fuck alone.
No, I legitimately didn't. I felt nothing through that whole
Austin
thing.
was Austin was the baby of his family, so he didn't quite get it.
I was the baby. I was the baby in my family, and for most of my life, separated from any siblings I had. So yeah, I got nothing.
That's fair. Jaian, before we finish off with like a rating of the movie, do you have anything to add?
I don't. I was thinking. I feel like the one thing we might or could add is our thoughts on Satsuki. I feel like we kind of talked about it, but I don't know if we went like to the depth of it. If just an open conversation, if there's anything you guys want to say about Satsuki, I feel because she is like a big or like the protagonist of the movie alongside Mei, being like a I'd say like a good like a neutral good character, like not the ultimate hero. I don't know. Any thoughts on Satsuki in general?
Well,
I don't
Granny
think
is
there's a morality
definitely
scale. I don't think there's a morality scale for this movie, Jaian.
Totoro's chaotic
yeah, there's
evil.
horror themes. Come on.
The cat bus is like the most evil one, but okay.
No, he's neutral. Cat bus is
The
true
cat bus is
neutral.
lawful evil. All right.
Lawful evil is the cat bus. But yeah, any thoughts on Satsuki?
Honestly, I think
loved her.
Satsuki. I think Satsuki's the one who kind of ties the movie together because she has the childish aspects of Mei and the childish beliefs and like plays around and everything, but she also has that adult side to her. Like she's the one who's actually taking care of the family. When she gets the call about her mom, she's the one who gets a hold of her dad and has to relay the news to Mei and everything. And goes out on her own searching for Mei. She has like this adult and childlike characteristics to her all throughout. That might be why she's my favorite character because she's like like a side of both worlds. She accepts that Mei has met Totoro, like yeah, makes fun of her just a little bit along with her dad, just teasing her a bit, but then easily accepts, yeah, no, I believe you. But then when it's time to get shit done, she realizes the severity of the situation in order to actually, get that shit done. So she
Yeah,
kind
to
of
add on to
balances
your
out
point
things.
there. Exactly.
Mhm.
To add on to your point there, because the mom was sick, I feel like Sasuke felt the need to become the mother at that moment and took the responsibility to make the lunches, to make the breakfast, to make sure everyone was feeling like, yeah, just because the mom is there in the hospital doesn't mean that we can't still be a family, and tried her damnedest at it. And yeah, she has to have that responsibility, but she also doesn't want to miss out at being a kid. And it was a great mix of the two. And yeah, I absolutely love the
Absolutely.
character because it made me remember my childhood and how we had to deal with that. Like, it wasn't the greatest childhood in that way. So dealing with either trauma or being like a responsible adult, but also trying to have a kid's life, it is extremely hard to do. And I applaud the creators, the Studio Ghibli studio, actually portraying that super well, but like so subtly, where like if you never been through that, it's hard to see that.
Actually, adding on to that, like Satsuki becoming the mom. When they first visit the mom in the hospital, like it's an incredibly subtle thing, but when mom comments Satsuki on her hair, and Satsuki just straight up says, "I want to be just like yours." Do you think she's
Oh
saying, "I want
yeah,
to be just like you," like that kind of thing?
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a very
I believe that.
that's kind of that's a pretty subtle way of like conveying that. Like after we've also seen her like preparing food for them or preparing her own lunch and all that. So it's like it's bricking itself. So like each moment is layering on top of the other, and you kind of get that if you discuss it, but otherwise if you're not paying attention, it'll just go over your head, and you'll just kind of relate to it, and you'll just get it without having to discuss it really sometimes.
Yeah. Anyone
All
got
right,
any
let's
more thoughts on her?
no. I think we can rate the movie. I mean, unless you guys, I don't personally, but does anyone else want to add something, or do you want to go to ratings?
We can go,
We can go ahead
rating.
to rating.
Yeah,
I'm
alright.
I'm fine to give my final thoughts. Honestly, I'm ready.
yeah, let's do
All
it.
right,
It's our
I'll
subtle
start
way
off
of
just
saying
by
let's end
saying
the call.
Oh, bye guys.
I haven't plugged my new channel yet, so we can't end the no.
Oh,
In all
yeah,
seriousness.
totally.
I rated this movie a 9 out of 10 on my anime list on mine. And I will hold true to that. I feel like this movie is fantabulous. That's the word. I'm putting fantastic and fabulous put together for this one. The characters are great. The music's fantastic. Like we went everything we discussed. Like I really don't have anything bad to say about this movie. It's so well put together. It goes by super quickly. Obviously, if you're at this point, you're completely spoiled. But go give it a watch. It's worth it. And I loved it. I really, really did. And I don't want to go too deep into it because we already explained all of our thoughts here. So yes, 9 out of 10 for me.
All right, I will go next. For me, it's a solid 10 out of 10. I rarely give that rating for anything, but for all the points that we went through, I can't come up with anything bad to say. And normally I can. Normally there's like at least one small thing wrong with it, but there's nothing wrong with this movie. I gotta give it the 10 that it deserves.
All right. What about Hotshot? What do you think?
The internet's gonna hate me.
No, that's fine.
Probably.
You can have your own opinion on stuff. It's cool.
I'm honestly like between a 7 and a 7.5 for me, honestly.
Okay.
It's
I was expecting lower.
Yeah,
me
I
too.
was too, to be honest.
That's really not that bad.
Yeah.
Well,
but
like based on the anime list score, that's a good, as opposed to like 5, which is 5 or 6, which is fine and average.
all right, 6.5.
God damn it.
Thanks, Kyo.
damn it,
Nice. Good
Thanks,
job,
Hotshot.
Kyo. You just had to bring up the statistics. Wow.
Yeah, he has a basic understanding of the numbers. All right, I'm sure he can figure it out on his
Yeah,
own.
no, I got it.
So
But
why is it a
I-
6.5 for you?
I do fall between 6.5 and 7.5 because I enjoyed the movie fine. It is a really sweet story, like especially between Satsuki and Mei, and the relationship with their dad and their mom and everything else. Just like the side characters, aside from Granny, just don't really do anything for me. And then like Totoro and even the mini Totoros. Let me explain the mini Totoros first. The mini Totoros, like, I feel like are just there because they're cute. You know what I mean? Like, I know the white one steals the food, but then literally after that, that's it. Like, he has no other purpose when we meet the big Totoro. Like, he's just there. And so is the blue one. Then you guys know how I feel about Totoro's smile. He just scares the fuck out of me, so I don't really enjoy scenes with him. Like I find them cute, but I point more fun at them than I do like actually sitting and enjoy them. Like the rain scene or the seed grow scene or the bus stop scene or when he first appears. Like every time Totoro's on screen, I just make fun of it because I'm kind of in that boat now. But like I said, like Jane said, really, the scenery is great, the music is great. My favorite character is Satsuki, and that's a big reason why it is as high as it is, because I really like her as a character. I like Mei as a character. I like Dad. I like Mom. Everything else.
So you like the
just kinda,
family, basically.
I like the family. Everything else just kind of falls, for me.
Okay. No, that's a fair point. I can see that.
And
I don't
Toto
hate
is
you.
fucking terrifying.
Speaking for the internet, I don't know, but for me personally, that's a fair description.
Look,
What about
internet,
you,
you
Kyo?
can hate me. It's fine.
Yeah,
Everyone
Kyo.
else does, so you're good.
True.
I'd caution Ginger on Twitter. Go ahead, Kyo. No,
Did you already say Jaian?
I did. Yeah, mine's a 9.
Okay. All right. I keep spacing.
That's cool.
But I'm not gonna lie, it's not my favorite Ghibli movie. So like personally for me, this is a good movie. I just don't think it's a great movie. Like it's good in the sense that like it's entertaining, it has a really strong mood, it's artistically really strong, but the biggest problem is that it doesn't handle itself as a movie very well. It kind of just does whatever it wants for an hour and a half, and then in the last third, when there's an actual conflict, the conflict being like May disappears and like they all go out and find her, and that's just to kind of give the movie like a third act, because by that point they've not really been making any progress doing anything. But at the same time, it's kind of like a slice of life movie, or like a slice of life movie, like say Lucky Star or a slice of life anime in that sense.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Lucky Star wouldn't make a very good movie, you know? Like, what would that movie be for like an hour and a half? Like, they could talk about that chocolate cornet for another half hour, and then maybe somebody will be bored.
Nice.
Thing, Kanata would.
Yeah, that's true. But as far as my personal preference, I would put it at a 7, because I don't hate it. I like it. It's a good Ghibli movie. I just think it's a little overhyped by most people, like, because I think there's a small group of anime fans that are just fans of Ghibli movies, as opposed to like just liking anime. And it's like, okay, here's a bunch of movies that are kind of like Disney movies, but they have a strong Japanese flavor to them.
Two
Two
things to add to your point, actually, Kyo. And actually, Eli, now that I think about it, there's a massive like nostalgia factor. Like, if this was the kind of life you had as a kid, or like if you could relate to anything that that the kids were doing, like this is gonna sound so dark, like the having fun or like bonding with your siblings, or like anything like that, or even just the nostalgia factor of like you really enjoyed it when you were a kid and you still enjoy it today. Like, I feel like that really does factor in.
I could see where you're coming from, though, because if...
Oh, that was the other point. Sorry, real quick.
Go for it.
I know I speak for me and Kyo here. It's definitely not the worst Ghibli movie we've seen. It's just another movie we've seen. We've definitely seen worse from Ghibli.
It's just an all-around amazing movie to just sit down and enjoy yourself with, and I feel like that's why I gave it the 10 that it deserved, and I see why you guys don't see it the same way. And I'm not denying the nostalgia factor there. There definitely is. Like, I've felt it while watching that, and I've mentioned it here before in the podcast today. So yeah, it definitely had an influence, but I mean, I still think it's a 10 with the amazing art and the lighting and everything that we mentioned.
I mean, don't get me wrong, because like I did watch this as a kid. There is a small nostalgia factor for me, because like I would watch this a lot, because like I would go to a cousin's house. My mother was like working a lot, so like my sister and I would go over to our cousin's house, and this was one of the VHS tapes that we watched over and over again. And by the way, if you guys watched this on like HBO Max, or if you got it on Blu-ray, you probably got the Disney dub. I watched the Fox version, which I actually kind of like more now that I look back at it.
Oh, there's two versions. I didn't know.
Yeah, there's two English dubs for it. There's the Fox Entertainment one, and then there's the Disney one, because Disney acquired the rights for Studio Ghibli releases, because the guy who founded Pixar originally, John Lasseter, he was close friends with Hayao Miyazaki, so like he was able to pull some strings with Disney, and he made it so that like Disney distributes Ghibli movies in America.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Huh. So I want to know which one I saw now.
If it's the version with where May and Satsuki are voiced by actual sisters, Elle and Dakota Fanning, that's the Disney version.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Damn, I need to look that up now. If for anyone watching it or is about to watch it, please let us know in the comments which one that you watched, if you know which one you watched, the Disney or Fox one, because yeah, I want to know what your favorite one is.
Funny I brought up the dub, because I just remembered a point that you made earlier when you were talking about the cat bus, and it like switches over the names, or like where the destinations are. In the Fox version, the mice that are on top of the bus, they say like what the destination is, because you can't read the Japanese text.
Oh man, what?
So if they didn't say anything, then you probably watched the Disney version, which is the one I just watched with Austin the other day.
Yeah,
oh, God.
I must have watched that one too.
Oh god, Totoro,
That's interesting.
Alice in Wonderland, Disney. It all makes sense now.
Yes, it's part of the MCU.
There's the connection you were looking for.
Yeah, yeah. We're gonna see Totoro in the next Endgame, guys.
Oh
It's
God,
gonna
no.
happen.
All right, let's wrap things up. I think we're at a good point here. This is definitely gonna go over the hour mark for sure. Let's Eli, let's start with you. Where can people find you? Talk about what you do as a creator, everything. Like, what do you have going on YouTube or Twitch? Anything you want to plug, go right ahead.
Sure thing. So my name is Eli, of course, but I do have a personality on Twitch. I'm Aazriik, so that's with 2 A's and 2 I's. It's spelled Aazriik. The only reason I bring that up is because it's spelled differently. It's harder to find. But anyway, I'm on Twitch, and I do have YouTube as well. I stream on both of them. You could find me whenever. My streaming schedule is kind of weird right now because my schedule at work is kind of weird because of the pandemic. But I try to stream whenever I can. So definitely check me out there on Instagram. It's the same handle, Aazriik. Yeah, you won't be able to catch me streaming at one point.
Perfect. Kyo, who does the artwork for the podcast?
I don't know, but they must be very talented. You should totally check out their website.
Totally. What's their website?
What's the yeah?
It's currently ccartportal.wix.com.
Okay.
And you can find me.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, and you can find me at on Twitter at GoProKyo. You guys can find my website link on my Twitter bio.
Perfect. Hotshot.
You guys can find me right here on Anime Podcasters whenever Jaden decides to let me up for air and expel that air in an episode. You guys can.
We're recording after this one, okay?
You guys can also find me over on my channel, Hotshot Ginger, where with GoProKyo over here, we talk about the underbelly of anime, be it dirty or a slice of life, basically stuff that Jane's not into. And you can find me over on Twitter at Caution Ginger.
Perfect. Follow the podcast at Anime Podcasters on Facebook. Look us up in your favorite podcatcher. You can leave us a voicemail on speakpipe.com/anime podcasters, and you can rate us on ratethispodcast.com/anime podcasters. We are now fully switched to Anchor, so you can find us on their player there, and we are on any other podcatcher you would like to find. And for myself, at JaianMusic on social media, I make anime covers and anime remixes, game music covers, and other podcasts on my channel, so you can go check that out, youtube.com/JaianMusic. And my website is JaianMusic.com if you want to hire me for freelance audio music services. It's all going to be in the description. Go check out all of Eli's stuff as well. Go check out all of Kyo's stuff. Go check out all of Hotshot stuff. Everything will be in the description. For myself, Eli, Hotshot, and GoProKyo, this has been another episode of
Anime
Podcasters. Damn it.
Bye, guys.
That was good. Yes.
All right, bye.